Hello and welcome back to the Galeria Smite League. We have a great matchup today, Goosedra versus Mahakali. This one's going to be interesting here in week 6. I will be one of your hosts this evening. I Nublet, joined in the booth by my friend and great Smite analyst Joy Wolf. How do you feel about this matchup, Joy Wolf?
I'm really excited to watch this one. Mahakali coming off a huge upset victory against King Kai, previously undefeated, but Mahakali coming in with a huge head of steam, lots of momentum, should make for a really good matchup.
Yeah, that was an impressive victory last time, taking down Kinkai's. And if you look at the standings here, Mahakali and Goosedra pretty even. Gutra coming out at 3-2 and Mahakali with 2-3. That could change today in this game. And then, of course, fighting for circadian rhythm spot, possibly see what occurs over the next 2 weeks. Where do you think I see a lot of Scalder fans in the chat? That might be the catalyst here. Scalder main being the support for Mahakali's played the Emoja twice last game or last week in their 2-0 victory. You believe that's going to be the catalyst here?
I mean, a good Yamoja just runs games. We've seen it time and time again. She's been one of the best supports ever since she was released. So, if we have a repeat performance, I wouldn't be surprised at all that Yamoja acts as the catalyst that you predict.
Which always a good call for going to the support role. It looks like we'll probably be getting over to picks and bans right now. If you look on your screen, Mahakali is going to be on the order side. Goostra on the chaos side. Already picks flying out with the start. Mahakali banning the Cali.
It just fits so perfectly. And I mean, Kali just such a powerful god. Once she hits that late game, pretty much unstoppable. Destruction does not let her die. Being able to reset, gain all of that HP back with her passive in a team fight, just so impressive. And speaking of impressive, Robin, the man of many shields, pretty much unkillable for most parts of the game. Just so tanky, doing so much damage. The bane of all backlines. Not surprised to see Robin banned out here.
So far, this all seems pretty standard, sort of meta bans as we see the Marty and the Baba Yaga off the board now. Baba is always a point of contention. A lot of people like to ban it. Is very strong, can do a lot of things, but definitely the Kali, Ravana, Marty, you don't want those in your meta. And followed up with a Thor. One more band's going to round out this round of bands. And there it is, the Yamoja taken away from Scalder main. Don't want to see that come into play. Smart move there by Goostra.
And as we see hovered for that potential first pick, Hachimon,
I will end this fight.
quite as it is locked in now, quite literally has been one of the best ADCs for quite a while now, and just ever strong, great poke, great damage, super safe, mounted archery, pretty much a get out of jail free card. I love this
These
Hachimon
immortals
as a
need to be
first
taught a
pick.
lesson.
And speaking of first picks, first pick for Goosedra coming in is the Sun Wukong. Speaking of safety, just really unable to be killed pretty much. Gets
Time
out
to
of
eat.
any situation with the somersault cloud. Bird form super safe. I love this Sun Wukong pick here.
Yeah, so far it looks like meta things are going to do meta things. Hachiman, a crowd favorite right now out there in Smite for this meta. Wukong, so good, can do the damage in this tank meta, as people have been calling it. Mostly just annoying for your backliners, can get in their face, and what better to pair that with than a
Face the
Bakasura.
wrath
So
of a
while
sorceress
Wukong's distracting
scorned.
everybody, you're just eating them all alive and getting yourself a pentakill. Overall, Mahakali is going to lock in the Geb, which is always a good play. A lot of area damage or area peel for your teammates, and of course the shield, not necessarily needing that CC immunity right now. And the Morgan Le Fay option I love because of the self peel. Bakasura drops on you, you drop all your abilities at your feet. You can survive for quite some time before your team comes over to help you. And then a Merlin being looked at.
Yeah, I really
My
like
power
this top three
cannot
coming
be
out from
contained.
Mahakali. I mean, as we said earlier, Hachimon, get out of jail free card with the mounted archery. Morgan Le Fay, incredible self peel that you pointed out. And then Geb as well. Stone Shield just gives you so much shielding. It's so hard, gonna be so hard to kill this backline. I really like what Mahakali is cooking up.
Going into the second round of bans here, Achilles off the table and a Rom to follow. Of course, the backliners already locked in for Mahakali. We are assuming So going to go ahead and get rid of carries. Won't do any damage towards your team. A Wheelix is gone. Smart play just because of the Geb knockup, because of the Morgan Le Fay, and then also Bakasura going to be leaping, doing things. You don't want a Wheelix to play a role into that. And Kuzenbo, a popular support for this economy, not going to be available as we look to a Ganesh hover.
Yeah, speaking of strong supports, Ganesh has really risen through the ranks recently, and I mean, Ohm just being able to completely shut down whoever he's looking at is such a strong asset to have in any team fight. Just taking somebody out of the game and pretty much shutting them down is exactly what Ganesh can do for you. Speaking of shutting someone down through different means, a Loki hover. This is a little interesting. Really good at deleting. I was gonna say good at deleting a health bar, but unfortunately the Camazotz will be locked in instead of that Loki.
I love the Camazotz pick. Pretty strong right now. A lot of sustain, and you already have the sustain, assuming Morgan Le Fay builds into it a little bit, and then of course Guan Yu having a lot of survivability out of Mahakali's. The Ganesh pick, I think, is a very strong one because if you pair it with a Bakasura Merlin, the area damage on Goosedra right now is just insanity. Bakasura drops the ult on you. What do you want to do? You want to get out of there. If there's Ganesh walls around you, going to be real hard. And of course, Merlin abilities flying everywhere. Here's a pick hovered that we don't see a lot. And the Neath. Of course, the Willix off the table, so it won't happen. And then another hover. Speaking of Scalder, and hover the Scotty. I think Scotty, although ability based, is very strong. Can absolutely 0 to 100 people right now. Might have what it takes. I mean, some mobility. And we're going to go. Doesn't like Scotty. Move on to the next. On her. Very popular. Gets locked in. Strong pick for the carry. What are your first impression, Joys, of these team comps?
I think you summed it up really well. Mahakali just has this super safe draft that is going to be really hard to dive. And on the other side, Goosedra has a lot of spread out damage. It's really going to be hard for the team of Mahakali to get out any engagements forced by the Goosedra team. So I'm curious to see if the ultimate defense is going to be beaten by the unstoppable sword in this contest.
So who are you giving advantage to just based off of draft comps here? Who's immediate advantage go to in your mind?
You know, I always have to favor the defense, so I feel like I have to give it to Mahakali for this one. Do you agree?
I think it's going to come down to what it always comes down to, and that's how these gods are played. You know, every god can be good in the right hands with the right player. Every god can perform poorly, and it also comes down to team comp. Coming off a big win, Mahakali, they might have a little fire under the behinds and might get this together. I overall initial impressions, not looking at these players at all, I really like Goosedra's draft. It is so powerful. It has so much spread damage in a team fight. It looks impossible to fight into if everybody's coordinating correctly. But you're right, on the other side, there's a lot of slipperiness. There's CC immunity on every single god on Mahakali's, and it feels a little bit more targeted on the fights. But I think combined in a team fight, that's very scary and definitely hard to fight into. But it's all going to come down to how these teams perform, who gets the early lead, and who pushes it, and how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, execution is going to be absolutely key for both these teams. If one team does fall behind, that could be absolutely detrimental. And with how we've been seeing games going, if you fall behind in the early game, that could be the nail in the coffin. I mean, some of these games are ending around the 26-minute marks when the Titans are unchained. So it could be really punishing if these teams do fall behind. I'm curious to see if either team is going to look to try and push an early advantage. If either of these teams do, I have to feel like it would be the Goosedra team. I mean, if you think of early pressure, you're thinking of Bakasura.
True. I think against that point, Joy Wolf, I think Mahakali has the potential to take this early game just based off of line on the Camazotz, because although Bakasura is a powerhouse and a hyper carry, Bakasura is going to want to farm for at least the first 7 levels. If you don't give anything to him early, Camazotz can come on so strong and make so many plays happen very early. So I think it's going to really come down to these junglers early game and who will take the lead. Mahakali has what it takes. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into game here. Game number 1, Goosedra versus Mahakali, week 6 of the middle division. Jungle buffs have been dropped. The players are headed to the respective lanes and the game is on.
Yeah, and I feel like you're right. These junglers definitely should be the driving forces for these team comps. I mean, Baka and Camazot's both extremely strong gods and really capable of just transforming a game, dumping it entirely on their head if they're able to take an early lead. Seeing a bit of poke coming out here in the duo lane.
Yeah, these first few minutes always matter so much. You pick these gods for a reason. You want to be the one controlling these lanes. They're going to see you. So far, Goosedra is being aggressive, but actually have lower health bars in this engagement. But that just goes to show how not scared they are. Typically, we might see first blood out here in mid lane, not necessarily here. But it looks like they've gone their separate ways, and they're just going to choose to have a bit of a ego battle, see who wins this lane. And actually a huge first blood from Big Man Jesus in the mid lane. Going to take out Wolfie on the Merlin, and that is a great start for Mahakali. Now it's just about what can you do with this first blood lead and how can you push it?
Yeah, I mean, that extra 500 gold going to your mid laner is pretty huge. They're most able to rotate outside of your supports and junglers. So they're really going to be able to make that impact felt of getting that early advantage as we see a bit of damage coming out on Baka.
Look at the chase from Lina, just sending Raging under tower. And that's the power I was talking about of Camazot's early. Bakasura is so good late. No one will ever deny that. Gets a pentakill without even thinking about it. But that early game is really going to go the way of Camazot's. Saw a bit of aggression out in the solo lane, forcing Vidar to back and reset. So that's so far a good lane for Shinny. We're going to go back over the dual lane as Scalderman wants to go in. Just kidding. Having a little bit of fun. And another kill out of the mid lane. Lina getting the kill this time onto Raging. Poked him out. He came back for more and got the W. This mid lane is taken off in such a good way for Mahakali's.
And I mean, we see it already. A level lead forming for both Lina and BMJ. They're kind of just fragging out at this point, and this is exactly what you want. I mean, if you're looking to build an early lead, starting in the mid lane is such a good place to do it. As I said, being able to rotate out, and always good to have a kill on your jungler as well.
And Lina's doing exactly what they should do right now and invading that blue buff, taking your lead you've been given and pushing it further. And if there's someone to get behind, it's probably going to be this Wukong, who's already been seemingly had the pressure in solo lane. Very smart play as we see Big Man Jesus, who got the first blood running away from the Bakasura. There was that self peel we were talking about. Gonna get out of dodge, but has to give up the green buff to Bakasura.
Yeah, and I like Raging's thought process here. You don't want to be falling too far behind, but there's a full gank squad coming in.
Not even scared to go straight to the purple buff, but here's the dual lane gonna dash in. Big Man Jesus came back and cleaned up the kill. Said, you thought I left, didn't you? Huge kill for Mahakali's here. And actually, if we look over, Loki very low in lane, giving the advantage over to Mahakali's to try and look for an invade. Nothing much more going to come from it as solo laners doing solo lane things.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you can expect out of these solo laners. Both their ultimates allowing CC immunity, free self peel. It's going to be really hard for either of these solo laners to get a solo pick, so I imagine if we do see someone fall on that side of the map, it's going to be off the back of a really, really skilled gank.
Yeah, and they've just ticked over to level 5, so now's when you're going to start seeing those plays. Vidar had already committed the Guan out there just to get a little self-peel, say you probably won't get me down. That was enough to scare Shinny off. But with that Wukong ult, at any time, you can just use it and land, get a kill, get a little heal, get out of jail free card right there. This is where I expect they'll start brawling a little more and going for the solo kill. Raging, running around, just trying to keep up with Lina on this farm game.
Yeah, and I mean, you said it. Lina's just bringing so much pressure, farming so exceptionally well. Already has the full Jotuns as we see a lot of damage in duo.
Tower dive from Mahakali taking a huge amount of damage, but Loki actually living there. not afraid to stand their ground and say, come on into this tower. A couple more seconds in there, it might have ended up with a double kill, which would have been huge for Goosedra.
But we see Ganesh still coming in. Molag might still be in a bit of danger.
Now, we do see Hachi does not have ult, not a lot of places to go. A nice grab and pillar to slow him down. Loki not going to jump in or cause any more aggression. Molag will get out of there. No relics, no ult. That was a great time to gank. Good idea. Lina choosing to get a battle with a Raging Enmu who does not want to give up another blue buff. Really hard to confirm over a Bakasura. And actually does. And Raging is now getting ganked by 3 in a huge tower dive. Up into the ult. Bat out of hell. Can't stay too long and so low there, but Geb is sticking around. And here comes Guan Yu, a reverse blink from Raging. Still just dodging, fighting for their life. Lina came back, got the kill. Now Skaldermain in a bit of trouble, a little bit low. Gonna get out. It's just the clone chasing him down, and Shinny gonna fight for the life, head back tower. What a fight back and forth. No one wanted to get out.
Yeah, I really like all this pressure brought onto Shinigami. Not allowing this Wukong to get online is going to be so key for Mahakali's success. And not only that, that blue buff is worth so much gold and experience. It's a really good target.
In the solo lane, this might be a solo kill over there, and it is. Shinigami got the solo kill, stuck around with low health. And Guan came back and paid the price for it. Here comes Dharmic Pillars. A nice Geb shield just to let them get out without being slowed down, and commits the ult. But now Geb is in trouble. Run away, Skaldermain. Takes a Sunder on the way out, but lives with about 100 HP. Not bad overall. That could have been very bad for Mahakali if they had fallen there.
Yeah, and speaking about the supports, just want to take a little look at these builds here. Skaldermain opting to go for the Prophetic Cloak. It's going to take a little bit more time to stack up, but once it does, that aura is going to be so impactful for the team. On the other side, Bob the Bunny going for the faster Gauntlet of Thebes, going to be stacked up a lot quicker. I mean, already almost halfway done compared to the 3 stacks on Skaldermain. But Bob the Bunny is lurking in the dual lane. Will they come at anything out of this?
Bob the Bunny headed to the dual lane. Meanwhile, Geb ganking in the mid. A big jump in, and Loki gonna commit the ult, but Hachi has it right back. Doesn't go all the way and dashes back in for the kill. 1v2. Molag with a huge kill. Could have just left. Didn't want it. Gonna stay the fight. And a Bob the Bunny Ganesh kill. Chalk that one up for the Ganesh. No assist there. Lina gonna come in and clean up that one. A 2-for-1 in favor of the Mahakalis.
Yeah, and we always love to see that Ganesh kill, but I have to feel like as the pressure isn't going to be put on Raging here, I really like that these teams are trying to put their pressure on different lanes, just picking a spot where they want to play through the map. I like that strategy. We talked about it a little bit in the picks and bans, but you really need to have a catalyst that drives your team. And, you know, I like how these teams have decided to pick which lane to go to.
A blink in from Lina and a leap down on top of Merlin. Wolfie probably going to fall here, and he does to the bat out of hell. Bakasura chasing down Morgan Le Fay. Big man Jesus doesn't get away quite like they would want to. Self-pill wasn't enough this time. Raging going to go in and pass all the way to tower. That fight started over a scuffle by the mid Harpies. And if we take a look, it's 7-3 Joy, but you wouldn't guess that based off the gold charts. Almost dead even gold, only about 700 XP difference. Why is the game state the way it is when it feels like a brawl the whole time?
I mean, we're seeing it. Goosedra is picking some good opportunities where they want to fight. I mean, unfortunate ganks in the early game, but they're really picking where they want to be and doing a good job of picking those good fights. So I think Goosedra's fight selection is really well here, as we see Kemazot's deep in enemy territory.
Lina is all the way in the enemy jungle contesting a speed buff 1v2. Just zero fear. Gonna force a blink back out from Merlin to the mid lane. Solo laners still going at it in their lane. They're probably pretty healthy now to a point where it may not be a solo kill without some assistance. Geb has come over to the left side to contest this on her at the shield buff. Boxing back and forth, and here comes the blink ult from Geb. Knock up. On her gets the shield buff. That's going to help in this engagement. Bakasura creeping around the edge. Banner is dropped. On her in some trouble. Leaps back towards help. Dharmic Pillars come out, but the Haji ult too strong. Going to pick up one from Molog. Now facing down 3 members. Here comes the Flames, and Raging's actually going to pick that one up. A 1-for-1 trade. This is fantastic rotations out of both these teams.
Yeah, I was going to say, just clean rotations, knowing when your man's under duress, needs some help. Speaking of duress.
Wow, caught out in a bad spot. Scaldermain was home free, now in the middle of 3 members from Goosedra. Again, a fall down there at the 10.5-minute mark. Shinny can use that get out of jail free card as 3 people from Mahakali show up. Not a lot of places to go here. Gonna think about it, maybe wait for cooldowns and transformation to come back up, but Morgan Le Fay is watching, goes up into the ult, and Lina with another one. 5-0 here, 10 minutes in.
We're seeing a whole lot out of Lina, and this is exactly what we thought. Putting their pressure out across the map, but even so, Baka is just so hard to outfarm, already taking about a half-level lead here. It's just really impressive play from both of these junglers. They're executing exactly what they want to do. Their game plan is really apparent here. It's good to see. And as we see the beacons charging up, I would expect to see both of these teams trying to play for a pick here to try and get some sort of advantage in this ever important beacon fight, as we see both these ADCs looking to pressure each other out here.
Shield buff is going to be a point of contention. 2v2 over here. No one really in position to come help and force a fight. Everybody looks like they're going to go back to the farm game. I think you made a great point there. When the beacon does come up, the way this game has been going and how much these fights have started off of nothing, I imagine one will break out there as we see Lina chasing down Bob the Bunny. Pretty taken at this point. 3 people grouped up on left side on her. Could be in a bit of a position that's not favorable should they step up how they have been. Not much to go on right now as they collapse onto Ganesh. He's just trying to silence and buy some time. No one really able to come over as Morgan Le Fay is fighting for their life in mid after a dive from Wukong, who has rotated from the solo lane. It's fizzling out a bit, but now fight might start over Beacon.
Yeah, and I mean, we see a little bit of scrap coming out. Mahakali getting a huge amount of damage.
Wow, that was a huge blink in from Geb. A bit of a miscommunication. No one was there to follow up as Raging's going to take down Big Man Jesus. Almost dies. Molong comes in and finishes that one up with the ult. Now it's a bit of a split fight. Scaldermain nowhere to go. No help. Loki going to get the first kill of their game. Now Molog has had to back off, and Vidar, who came in, is also backed off. Looks like they're going to give this one up to Goosedra. First beacon to them.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to emphasize, as Molog still wants to fight for this could be costly.
Yeah, they've fallen pretty low. Had to commit relics there. But hey, if you're going to try, at least get out poke. There's probably no universe where you scare all 4 of them off. But if you know you can survive that, why not get a little poke out? Just to make a statement that you're not scared and you're not going to give up objectives for free.
Yeah, I like the gusto from Molog to try and step up to that fight. But just to kind of emphasize how important these beacons are. I mean, we all know how important structure damage structures are, what keep you from winning the game. Having more structure damage always going to be a boon. Movement speed, one of the best stats in Smite, as we see an engage from Lina that doesn't look like it'll come out too much. These tanks just so tanky, man.
I think Line is just creating a facade here, setting an ambiance that this is their map, this is their jungle, and at any moment they can blink in. No real shot there to get the kill onto Merlin, but a blink in and some damage makes a statement and makes you think twice about maybe not warding your jungle or something like that. So huge move from Lina, just controlling everything here. We look at a solo lane, have split apart there, and yeah, kind of how do we go from here? 14 minutes in, things have kind of shifted a little bit. Goosedra is up about a K, still 10-7 in favor of Mahakali. Where do we go from here if you're Mahakali, who's seemingly controlling this?
I mean, I feel like both these teams are just trying to secure their farm for now. Little bit of a lull coming up. We see that Raging Emma actually has taken a bit of a lead here over Lina. just really farming well. I mean, it's what you expect out of the Bakasura, but as we see an engagement onto Lina, but
And
they're
speaking of the
going to retreat
junglers,
to the
they're going to
safety.
keep brawling. I think we talked about it in the early. Bakasura is so good at farming, just so hard to out farm them. It's up to Linux to create that pressure, which they did very early. 5-0 has been getting in there, bullying them out, getting kills. But if you spend too long chasing kills and going for the ganks, you're losing out on farm. And then Raging just going to be in the background, just picking all that up. And they haven't. They've done a great job up a level here, despite being down 1 kill and up 4 deaths. And also a big play is every time a fight breaks out, Raging jumps right onto the back line and erases them.
Yeah, I mean, Baka just able to drop the regurgitate. You can't run away from it, and really just a thorn in the side of the Mahakali team. Going to be a pain to have to deal with in the future. Scaldermane is going to have a big task in front of him when it comes to trying to peel his backline from the ever hungry jaws of this Bakasura.
From here on, 15 minutes in, 16 minutes in, still very, very even on the gold charts. Who do you think should be initiating and pushing for these objectives next? Obviously, the objectives are going to be what catapults a team into a more substantial lead. Do you think it should be Goosedra, who are kind of fighting back and doing well on farm, but losing fights as they start up the Pyromancer here? Only person in position. Big man Jesus, a little late of an ult. Goosedra is going to confirm that one. Guess that sort of answered my question, huh, Joy?
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like Goostra are still trying to get a bit of those items online. You know, they're really farming it up for the late game. As we mentioned, Bakasura are able to just delete the backline once he's fully decked out, ready to go.
Looks like we
But a
have a
big gank in the
blink.
duo.
Yeah, blink over in onto on her, who now Geb has come in. As Aegis only going to buy a little bit of time for Loki, who's now 1 HP and dead again to Lina, going to pick up their 6th kill. Bob the Bunny came over a little later. There is a ward there, but 4 members on Bob the Bunny. No one in position to help. Raging can come over and ult, but that's about it. Might not be super fruitful with all 3 there. They're going to let that one be bygones.
Yeah, luckily for Goostra, are able to secure that purple buff. And again, we see Lina just being so aggressive. I really like that. They're still trying to make plays despite falling behind. And I think that's exactly what we need to do as we see the Gold Fury falling low here.
Yeah, it's a bold move. Scaldermane's already fallen pretty low, and Raging Enma does have... Oh, drops it right there. Dharmic Pillar is also going to come out. They're still pulling the Gold Fury here as Bat of a Hell gets committed. Now very low for Mahakali. So now this is even more sketchy of a Gold Fury call. Bob the Bunny is in position, and right around the corner is Wolfie. They want to contest this. Scalder can't step up. It's going to be a 50-50 if this holds true, as Bob the Bunny falls to big man Jesus. Now, both teams have decided to drop the Gold Fury. Loki's still standing around, going to pick it up. Is pretty healthy, and Wolfie is here with abilities. Still a 50-50. Goosedra gets the Gold Fury. Wolfie gets Scalder. Mala gets Loki. A bit of a mess over there, but they wanted it, and they hoped it went their way. Went Goosedra.
Yeah, and I mean, you trade out 2, but you pick up the support, you get the Gold Fury. I have to feel like that's worth it for Goostra. And, you know, I like that they're stepping up to these objectives. This is the first time they've really had any sort of substantial lead, and they're really starting to try and pull away with it. And I like that. We saw Mahakali early in the game. They formed a lead, but it never got to the point where it was anything big. And now we see a lot of damage on Vidar.
It is definitely controlling the solo lane going to Shinny now, but there's probably not a lot going to come out of that as they are pretty tanky now. I think Mahakali had the right idea as the beacon becomes available to capture. Might see another big fight on that one. Mahakali taking control early. It's about 75% done, and no one's going to contest it as we do have a pause coming out. I think, like I was saying, Joy, Mahakali had the right idea on Gold Fury because, as we were talking about, Goosedra is doing better farming. They're doing better getting objectives, but Mahakali is undeniably winning the fights. What I would have liked to have seen, and tell me if you have another idea, is they start that Gold Fury. You got 4 people there. You got the numbers. Bait them in, drop the Gold Fury, fully drop it, get Scaldermain out, take the fight, see what happens with the fight. But they kept leashing it and falling low, and the fight just swung to Goosedra.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Skuldermain's health bar, and I've been there as a support. You
Yeah.
really want your team to get the objective, but you just fall so low, and then you have to drop it. It falls to the carries, and they can't take it for long. Gold Fury really does kind of chunk when you don't have a bunch of protections, so everyone
Mhm.
just felt a little bit too low. Gooster was able to pick up the pieces on that one. I feel like you're right. If they were just to drop it and take the fight, that would have been a better turn of events for the Mahakali team.
I think what usually comes down to that in competitive play is I don't know who the shot callers are on Mahakali or Goosedra. Usually comes down to communication because I've played support in competitive settings and I know that if the call is we're getting this Gold Fury, I'm holding it until someone calls out a target or says drop it. Because you don't want to be the one who drops the Gold Fury unannounced and then your big confirm comes in and hits nothing and is immune. So might have just been communication. Hey, we dropping this? Hey, are we not? It could have the call been to hold on to it, and then because of that, the fight was skewed. Um, Either way, lessons learned. You're not down by that much, less than 2K right now, although a little under 2K as the pause is finally going to end here. And we're going to get back into the game. Stitch and Beacon going to Mahakali. Real easy on that one. All you can do is learn from it and be better on the next objective.
Absolutely, that's all you can do. And you know, I still want Mahakali to be pushing to these objectives. I still
Yeah.
feel like, I mean, if we take a look at Molag, 2 levels ahead, there aren't any players on your team that are extremely behind. You should have plenty of capability of still stepping up to team fights and trying to muscle your way back into the lead. What I don't want to see is Mahakali start to turtle up and start not showing
Mm.
up to objective just because they've fallen behind. They're still plenty capable of staying in this game and taking the fight to Goosedra.
It just feels like it's shifting down a gear here, not so chaotic, not so aggressive. What I don't want to see is my biggest fear, and I'm saying this not because it's going to happen, but because we've seen it before, Joy, in that situations where you have a really good early game, and you have your jungler or somebody, your hyper carry popping off really good early game, and things kind of start skewing not in your favor. Things get frustrating, communication starts dropping. What I don't want to see is Lina, who's 6-0, who's been running this game, getting frustrated and choosing to be the hero and trying to force things to happen, saying, yeah, we're not getting these objectives. I'm just going to dive 3 people. I feel like I can kill them. And then things really start snowballing uh, elsewhere towards Goostra. So far, we haven't seen that. I think they're keeping a pretty good, calm head as 3 members from Mahakali are going to meet 2 over here. The Pyromancer is next objective. Let's see what we've learned as Raging is coming into the fight.
Yeah, both these teams posturing, but look at Baka in the back line.
Yeah, he just gets a little poke, gets scared off. It's good Morgan Le Fay self-peel. Vidar is really deep in there. Going to come in. Big man Jesus getting Bob the Bunny. Support is out. The brawl continues. 2-on-2 here. The rest of Mahakali trying to come in and help. A lot of ults been committed. Some get out jail free cards, but Wukong is deep in there. Skuldermain very low while Lina tries to take the 1v1 off to the side. Wolfie gets a kill. Mulag gets a kill. It's a 2-for-2 as Loki gets the third onto Vidar. And look at Molog's health. Barely escaped out, and the fight continues a little bit. Big Man Jesus versus Loki in the mid lane. Chaotic fight went a little bit both ways.
Yeah, I mean, 2 for 3, going to be feeling good for the Goostra side. But something I really want to touch on is the fact that Lina got shut down. Sitting at
Mm-hmm.
6-0-5, one of your main jobs is just to not die. As we see Big Man Jesus kind of posturing for the steal.
Yeah, 4 people here. Big Man Jesus didn't really know. Good self peel to get out, but Bakasura is going to chase it. Doesn't have ult quite yet. Skuldermain's there to assist. Pyromancer going to go the way of Goostra. What I don't want to see is things fall apart. Now, you were in a position where Lina felt untouchable, couldn't die, ends up dying, and mostly to a 1v1, was deep in it, losing a lot of health, but then took a bit of a 1v1. How do you collect your thoughts from here and get back to a position where you're fighting as a team? Because that fight could have went either way.
Yeah, I feel like at this point in the game, you're looking at your levels. All right, Molag is at 20. He's able to get that starter upgrade. Lina almost there, level 19. I feel like you really want to farm for these starter items. They're such a boon to your team, really able to cap off a build. So I would like to see these players kind of farm for those starter items and then try looking for a fight. Just might be able to get a little bit more once they have those upgrades available to them.
There's a bit of posturing over by the Gold Fury. Doesn't look like anything's going to come out of it. 2v1 dive onto the tower here. Probably just get their team a little gold. Don't think they will take the fight afterwards, or at least Shinigami will be able to get out. What would you like to see for the starter upgrades? Hachi just pulled his out. What about for On Her? I have been seeing sometimes in this meta people sell their starters for like a Titan's Bane or something.
Honestly, I'm a big fan of selling the starters. I mean, you already have so much tank shred. A little bit more will never hurt. And I mean, if you look, you're going to be getting dove by Shinigami and Raging. If you're absolutely shredding them, they can't kill you. It's the old "you can't kill me if you're already dead" strat, and I really like that.
Now see a full posturing around the Fire Giant. All 10 members here. Shinigami is going to back reset. Might have TP to come in. Ward coverage is in favor of Goosedra on the Fire Giant. Everybody kind of splitting now a little bit. We've got a 2-on-1, soon to be a 2-on-2 in mid, but now they're going to go the way of Bob the Bunny trying to catch them out. A little bit of poke. I think this is what we like to call in the business a Fire Giant dance, and it could be a huge one 24 minutes into this game. Still a close gold lead. Everybody to get to that point where XP doesn't necessarily matter. And we see Vider committing the ult. Cavalry charge is done.
And I feel that was necessary, though. Did you see how much damage Raging just did? He absolutely shredded Vidar, and there wasn't much else he could do. It hurts to see as a tank player someone getting so shredded like that when they have all these protections, but it really is what Baka has itemized for. I mean, you see the Kinsai and whatnot. He is going to absolutely shred, and shred he did.
Now posturing in the mid lane. Keep in mind, Primal Fury and Fire Giant are both up as the Stygian Beacon becomes available to capture. Last one went the way of Mahakali. First one went the way of Goosedra. Third one going to go back to Mahakali. Small W for them. Going to help a little bit here shortly when Titans are unleashed. Lina going around the back line of the T1, trying to catch out Wolfie in the mid lane. Is a bit of a pincer movement here. Let's see if they jump in. They do. They blink. Good damage immediately. And here's a cavalry charge again. Gabolt now out. Wolfie in a bad spot. Bat out of hell. Going to clean them up easily. Some low health bars as Molag gets one. But here comes the Wukong diving straight in on top of the Hachi. They're both so low, but they turn it around, and Molag's going to actually have the double. No, he's going to have the triple. He's not done. Finally cleaned up from Raging, who's trying to just clean up the whole team by himself. Too much CC coming out of Big Man Jesus. Going to finally clean up the Bakasura, and that is the first DSI of this match. Fully going to Mahakali, mostly on the back of the Hachi.
Yeah, Molag might have fallen there, but he is really the hero of that fight. Just so much damage. And I mean, really impressive, hitting all of the autos. You love to see it when the ADC pops off. And this Titan is getting absolutely shredded. Poor Chaos Titan. And I have a feeling that once we see this Order Titan pushing down and that Phoenix, yep, as we see, Mahakali heading right towards that Fire Giant. So it puts Goosedra on the awkward spot of, do you protect the Phoenix or do you protect the Fire Giant? And I feel like most teams in general are going to protect their Phoenix. Got to keep that base safe.
I think that's a good call. 27 minutes in, losing over a Fire Giant fight after just falling to a deicide could prove catastrophic, whereas you make a defense, give them the Fire Giant, hopefully they take it quick and it's not EFG, make your stance elsewhere. Let's break down that fight though. What went wrong there? Did it start with the pincer movement from Lina? Is that what happened? Because everybody was there. It was a full 10 on 10, eventually went split a little bit though.
Yeah, I was going to say, we saw it towards the beginning of the fight. Lina, I believe, picked up a kill, but then was separated and unable to really re-enter that fight. So despite having a member down, Goosedra just able to still keep it a 4v4, and they really turned it around. I mean, a little bit of protect the president, Mulag just getting all of the Geb shields, all of the protection, and going absolutely crazy in that team fight as we see Goosedra now stepping up, posturing for a defense.
Yeah, we could have our second biggest fight here of the set coming up as Fire Giant has been pulled by Mahakali. I think also in that last fight, it was beautiful, perfect. We already talked about how there might have been lapses of communication, not in that fight. And now we see, whoa, Vidar getting caught out. A lot was committed on them, and they're going to free charge out of there. Bakasura going onto the back line, just doing steady damage. Big man Jesus finally going to take him down after he gets the kill. Shinny going to land on Mulog, take them out. Big man just trying to get away from the Wukong. That's what they do, is stick on you. And now Vidar has sacrificed his life for the backline. Wolfie going to pick up that one. And now look at this. It's 4 people alive for Goosedra. Only 2 alive for Mahakali. And the ults are down. Fire Giant that was started up for Mahakali on the back of a Deicide is now fully going towards Goosedra.
Yeah, and I mean, both ults down for Lina and Big Man Jesus. I don't think we'll see a steal attempt, but they are posturing for it.
And Goosedra's going to clean up that one. Valiant Effort from Lina just to try and send a Hail Mary ability in there. But great zoning from Shinny on the Wukong. That's just what they do. It's so hard to kill a Wukong. He can just bully you, keep you in a certain square footage for as long as he really wants. Great job turning that around. Now Goostra still in the lead gold-wise. Not down that much on kills. Objective-wise, map posture-wise, great position. I couldn't tell you how these next 5 minutes are going to go.
Yeah, I was going to say something a little interesting here. As even as this gold has been, if you take a look at the structures, I like to think of those as little caches of gold that you can cash in on. And there's still 5 towers remaining for Mahakali that they have to defend. If Goostra's able to pick up all of those towers, they're going to be developing a huge gold lead. And right as we eclipse the 30-minute mark, that'll be monumental if there is a EFG fight after this, which I imagine there will be. So if Goostra are able to take all these towers, this is going to be huge.
Absolutely. Towers are the best way to just skyrocket your team into a lead. As Lina was trying to split push down this middle Phoenix as Goostra was going down left. Some abilities traded there, but a big fight over into the left lane, and they don't have their star jungler. Already up into the clouds and back down. Big man taking off this one. Shinny's looking for another kill, but Mulog's going to clean that one up. Clone is the only Wukong left on the map. Tier 1, Tier 2 fall down, but here comes Lina around the back. This is how the Deicide happened last time. Blinks straight in, has a lot of damage on the Mulag with the double kill. Gonna be the hero for the team once more. Let's see it. Big Bunny is gone on second triple kill for Mulag as Raging cleans up the Geb on the backline, but it's too little too late. A 2 for 3. Mahakali will just not be taken down while this Hachi is on the map.
Yeah, I mean, these teams just refuse to say die. If we take a look at the gold charts, it's just been back and forth all game. I mean, we see the rises and the falls. Yeah, big spikes, but neither team has been able to really keep that lead. I'm curious to see which team's going to finally be able to break it and push towards like a 5,000 to 10,000 gold lead. Mahakali looking to take that back a little bit with this Fury here. Do you think that's going to be enough for them, or is this going to be deadlocked even further?
Honestly, I think that's exactly what they needed, because they've been winning these fights. You've seen it, but they've been struggling on the objectives. And what does a Primal Fury do? It helps with that. So I think that'll be a little bit of an increase. And of course, another big team fight win. Mulag's got to be feeling themselves right now, ready for the next fight. I think it is going to help with their objective push. I don't think they need much help in the realm of team fights. But Pyro started up, unanswered by Mahakali. Fighter was there, but couldn't do anything. Goostra takes out one, and objective still steady going, and Lina is pushing up the left side alone again. It worked out fine last time. But I don't know about this time. If a big fight starts here around this, they might need him.
Yeah, you want all hands on deck if a fight does end up breaking out. And, you know, it's interesting because I was talking about a gold lead, but we're pretty much getting to a point where everyone's starting to upgrade their relics.
Hmm.
Outside of 3K pots and whatnot, hold that thought.
We
Damage
found
coming
the
out.
brawl. It's over in solo lane. Dharmic Pillar's gone. Loki jumps out. 1v3. Shinigami taking on this fight. But Lina has returned and is going around the back. Keep your eyes on Bakasura. Split pushing that left side. That could be an easy Phoenix as Lina gets caught in the middle of 4, dropping to Wolfie. Now not available to defend the left side. Here comes Baka. Already up to the Phoenix. Gonna ult for it. Gonna just start burning it, and no one can back because they're in the middle of a fight. This could be a free left side Phoenix. Big man Jesus in the middle of the fight up top by Fire Giant gets a kill. And of course, who other than Molag to clean up the other ADC? Bob the Bunny looking to get out of dodge like Shinigami, but Bakasura has cleaned up the Phoenix and is returning to this fight.
Yeah, that could have been absolutely catastrophic for Goosedra. Bob the Bunny may still fall here. The chase really is on. So much damage coming out.
Yeah, synchronized support ults there, which was pretty beautiful to see. Ganesh now probably gonna fall. Drops the bomb. Bidar still chasing. Hachi up alone versus two of the biggest names on Goosedra. That might be a tough fight. Bob the Bunny gonna get one more ult for their service. Eventually falling to Big Man. Big Man now with the 8-3. Good scoreline, and Hachi still hanging around half health. Raging gonna blink, and Molag hops up onto the horse and gets out. Probably gonna be free. Has Scaldermain here, 2 assists, but chunking through Scaldermain. Shinigami gonna go up into the cloud as they miss the Tiger form, but wow, the damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to protect someone if you're not able to stay alive yourself, and we see these junglers just doing so much damage. And you know, we touched on it earlier, Raging really itemizing for this tank shred, and it's almost like watching an ADC. There's just so much damage being dealt in an instant, and I guess that's what Bakasura just brings to the table, that instant I'ma kill you damage. But as we see even more damage coming out from Raging, doesn't look like they'll find the pick though.
Just a couple of swings chunking through Guan's health. And we see the steady climb. Bakasura has been pretty lower middle of the player damage charts this whole time. Now slowly starting to climb up. And it's not an easy task when you have someone like a Morgan Le Fay and a Merlin constantly throwing out big abilities. Pretty hard to top them, but definitely make an impact here in this late game. And on the other side, Lina kind of falling off, still making huge impacts. Don't get me wrong, the late show ups to the fights, cleaning things up. But it feels like Bakasura has turned it up a notch, while Lina has just been sort of maintaining. Might find out what kind of effect that has as Morgan Le Fay is in the left side of the lane. A bit of a blink miss from Scaldermain. That's not going to be available for this fight. Bakasura looking to take the 1v1 in left lane. That might be a death sentence for Big Man Jesus. Looks like it is going to be there very low. Baka still on the chase. And finally cleans that one up. Bit of an odd call for the split push. Put him out. I got the idea. You want to push up those fire minions, but Bakasura has been running around doing whatever they want. Don't want to get caught out with them.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with the enhanced Fire Giant up, I feel like Goosedra, this is your moment to really break this whole game wide open. That was such a big pick, and they're pulling the Fire Giant now. Yeah, now I'm not surprised.
And guess who's not in this fight? It's Molag. One of the backliners already taken out of the fight by Raging, and now Molag's kept busy in the mid lane. So this is just a brawl 3-on-4. No real damage except for Lina truly in this, but they're going to still take the fight. Bit of a wedge for Goosedra here in the middle of the jungle, but Raging looking to come around the back, possibly. I think all eyes are on Molag here, and that's the target for this fight.
I really like what Mahakali have done so far in stalling out this fight, but here, re-engage is happening.
And a beautiful re-engage. You saw the pings come out, and Lina's actually going to get the kill onto Bakasura, who almost had it onto Molag, but it was failed. Loki trying to just live from the bat out of hell, but it's all for naught as Vidar takes that last hit away. Molag is still here, very low, but choosing to stay in the fight with the squad. Shinny up into the skies, just buying some time. But Lina predicted it and blinked over. Gonna chase it down. He's gonna get the kill. It's right there. Big man over the wall. Gonna get that one. sorry, Lina, I need some kills too. The bunny in a bad spot. Molag gonna pick up that one. Now on a rampage, and EFG looking juicy.
We're seeing just how powerful this Hashimon is. And I mean, 13, 4, and 10, what a beautiful slash line. Unfortunately for Mahakali, their duo-side Phoenix is going to fall again, but Wolfie gets the return kill on Lina.
What a great pickup for Wolfie. That's huge, as a double fire wave has entered the throne room of Mahakali. Someone have to go back and deal with that. They probably could have got a Phoenix off of that, off that 4-man wipe, but they chose to get the EFG. I think it's a smart play. Regroup, come back up, probably still get the Phoenix, but this time as a 5-man group and no one getting cut out in the jungle. They might settle for Primal. They might just walk it up left side. But one thing you do probably have to be careful about is that raging backdoor with a Phoenix down. What are the odds that jumps in there and tries to solo the Titan?
I mean, we've seen crazier happen. Anything could happen in a game of Smite. But yeah, if you look at the build, he's capable of doing it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Ooh.
And look at how he's posturing.
Yeah, it looked like he might have been trying to go for it, but found himself in the middle of 3, almost 4 Mahakalis. So good on them to spot that one out. Not a lot of ward coverage in that area, but they at least saw it. And it looks like Raging might just be trying a different path to accomplish the same thing. That would be a crazy upset. And if he does backdoor that, Line is back there right now, so not much trouble. Gonna use a little bit of this EFG to get the Primal and then maybe look at some objectives. Would you like to see them push it up the left lane first?
Yeah, I mean, they have a couple runic bombs in their pocket. They should be able to take out that tier 2 tower pretty much uncontested. I would be surprised if Goosedra does try and stage a defense. But yeah, it looks like they're just going to perform a soft defense, standing behind the tower, waiting. But Shinigami is stepped up. We'll see what happens.
Looks like it's going to be a big fight. This tower should melt down pretty fast, pretty easily. A soft stance from Goosedra. This one will be interesting because typically we've been seeing Mahakali be reactive on the fights. They've been winning them a lot, but it usually seems to be Goosedra initiating it. This time it's up to them as Scaldermane is going to go in, not creating a lot of space, and a blink stun from Shinny onto Molag. That is still their target that they want to get out of here. 13 and 4 on the Hachi. You just need them gone if you're going to do anything. It is a 4-1 split. Lina going to be in mid lane, now getting collapsed on. Phoenix has fallen down. Used one of their bombs to a call. And now it looks like they're not going to take the fight afterwards. A huge push there that looked like it was a good defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to defend, though. We saw as Lina blinks in and already doing so much damage. But it looks like Mahakalis are just going to settle for this tier 2 right now instead of pushing for that fight. Don't want to get too greedy. Don't want to throw away the Fire Giant.
Still have Fire Giant for a little more time, and it has a lot of sustain on it, so no harm, no foul, and taking a little bit of a fight, getting poked out and reset. And Molag going to step up to the front of the Phoenix. Blink is down now for Shinny, so not a lot of worry on that end. Bakasura creeping around the middle of the two Phoenixes, maybe looking for an engagement, does have ult. Looks like they're going to try this one. Lina, excuse me if it's said incorrectly, is going to take the 1v1 into middle, get Bakasura out of the equation. And here we go into the Phoenix. Darman Pillar's out. Vidar has to commit ult. Wukong commits ult. They baited a lot there, and they're going to get out and use the sustain. Here comes the clone. No worries there, but Bakasura has made his way over. A blink in. Erased Vidar. Molag going to get the kill onto Raging. Thought he was in trouble. Guess again. Here comes Lina around the back. Staple of their engagements. Bob the Bunny going to scare him off. Got to be careful there. Wolfie wants to get some, looking at a lot of low health bars as Bob the Bunny going to fall to Lina, and now Merlin has to back it up into the Phoenix. But too little, too late. Molag is here, and he wanted his 15th kill. Sustain is an option. They go in. Very low health bars. Loki could make something big happen here. Doesn't do it before the Phoenix falls. That's two Phoenixes down. Left side Phoenix from Mahakali has respawned. They're going to get out. Fire Giant is worn off.
I really like what Lina did in that team fight. If you saw them just kind of kite the enemy team away, and it just let Molag, as we see a bit of an engage, hold that thought.
And
but it's a
gets out of dodge.
Yeah, Wukong just so safe. It really is so hard to kill Wukong, and I mean, But as we were saying, I really like what Lina did, getting the rest of the Goosedras away from Mollog, and it allowed Mollog to step up pretty much uncontested. Scaldermain taking up the Phoenix, and they really didn't have to worry about their low HP bar. They were able to just shred down that Phoenix because their jungle was doing such a good job of taking eyes off the ADC and really just allowing them another free Phoenix.
It was a bold move. Usually, when people's health bars get that low, they don't want to re-engage onto a full health Phoenix, especially with an on her standing there. Could have definitely gone sideways and been a triple kill for Loki, who is now finding himself in the middle of three. Bulldog gonna ult straight in. They're diving on top of Loki, and in an instant, he's gone. No ADC for Goosedra as Fire Giant has respawned. It is looking good for Mahakali.
Yeah, they're riding a big wave of momentum. All these team fights have been coming up their way, and that left-hand Phoenix still hasn't respawned yet. So they're going to, the Goosedras are going to have to worry about making sure that they don't lose that again, while the Mahakalis are trying to take this second EFG. I feel like they might almost just want to give it up. I mean, if the Mahakalis go right to this Fire Giant, it's going to be really hard for them to balance defending the Phoenix and defending this Fire Giant.
Yeah, there's always a couple trains of thoughts there. It's because if you go step up to the EFG, best case scenario, you steal it away in a 50-50, but then you also have to take the fight afterwards. The fights haven't been going super well for Goosedra, so I might just say, give them that one. We defended pretty good. We'll do better next time. Let's get our birds back up. Mahakali is going to drop this Fire Giant, now fully grouped up, looking to maybe catch out Bakasura here. He is very fast, though. Gonna leap away, but here's a Geb who blinks in and ults. And Bakasura gonna return the ult favor. Get one more out of Mahakali in the way of Bat Out of Hell, but Mulog gonna claim the 16th kill. 45 minutes in here, going absolutely crazy on the Hachiman, and really the only target left is this full health middle Phoenix. They're gonna go straight into it. Try and burn it down. It goes down in about 2 seconds, and then clean up the left side, and this could be an end call.
Yeah, Gooster retreating to the base. Health bars looking healthy, but that might not last long. Mahakali looking for the end.
Here they go into the throne room. Titan already at 75% health. Mahakali wants this one. They worked for it hard. A lot of damage coming out as Wolfie cleans up one. Wolfie cleans up two. Shinny gets three. Wolfie has a triple kill at the end, but it's not good enough. Mahakali takes game one.
And what a late game performance by Mahakali. I mean, just the amount of damage that we saw out of this Hachiman. And sitting at 5 deaths for literally forever. Couldn't be killed. Shredded everyone that stepped up to him. He was looking for 1v1s, winning them all the time. Really impressive stuff from this Mahakali team.
This is such an even matchup, Joy. I mean, you look at that end right there. That easily could have been defended. They did everything. Wolfie coming out with a triple kill right at the end, and they just barely lost the Titan. So clean play from both teams here. Look at the stats here in a second, and I think we'll be impressed because just looking at the score lines, what a banger of a set. Both sides, both carries on either side, just doing everything they possibly can. Wolfie, despite what it looked like with the constant pressure of Mulog and Lino, was going crazy on the Merlin. Same with Raging. I think it all came down to that Hachi Mulog pick. 16-5 is so impressive. And the fact the situations they were in, like when Mulog got ganked in duo lane, and instead of getting out, canceled the ult, turned around and came back in for another kill and almost got the 1v2, eventually getting help from Lina. Let's take a look at these stats here, Joy. Walk us through what some of the most impressive parts of this are.
Yeah, I mean, this is my thing. I always do it. I love to see how many wards these teams have. I know it's not the most flashy stat, but these teams did a really good job of covering their bases. And now we'll get into the fun stats. as you said, all these carries did an incredible job of pumping out the big numbers. I mean, nearly 50,000 from Mulag, Wolfie eclipsing that 50,000, Loki with 30K of their own, and the junglers also with over 30K. Just a lot of damage and really good stuff coming out from these carries. I feel like they had a huge part in how these games played out.
Hey, it looks pretty even across the board. Damage mitigated makes sense for these supports, these front lines. Damage created makes sense for the other three. The only stat that's really off is raging with the three wards. Everybody else in double digits here. But hey, when you're Bakasura running around doing Bakasura things, maybe you don't need a ward that much. You'll deal with whoever you encounter. How about the 13K player healing from Guan Yu? It was 50-minute game. 13K, where do you land on that?
I mean, if you think about it, your average carry has between like 2,000, 2,500 HP. So you break that down, that's about five-ish additional health bars for your carries. And I mean, I know it's not all going to your carries, but that allows so much extra team fight potential. Just keeping your carries alive was really huge in that game, and pumping out those big healing numbers absolutely helped the backline stay alive in those fights.
In your mind, player of the game for this set, who is it?
It has to be Mulag. I mean, would anyone argue with that? They had a lights out performance, and yeah, I don't think anyone could argue if they wanted to.
I think it was an impressive game overall. Wonderful set. And that was only game one. Even matchup. We still got another game coming here. Stick around for it. We're going to take a quick break while we wait for game two to get up and running. We'll see you there.
took a second chance, trusted you again. I feel shattered. Broken strings, cause you play me like a violin. Shame on me for all your 7 deadly sins. Had it all, but you craved attention. Drowning in your own reflection. Put me down just to see me get back up again. 6 feet under and you're ready to give all the pain. If I was your new addition, you make me part of your equation. Shattered from the past, wish you were my last. Shatter me to pieces like broken glass.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GSL set. Week 6. Still looking at Mahakali versus Goosedra, and what a game one Mahakali coming out here. Looking like they just took down an undefeated team last week and feeling good, looking strong. But Goosedra answering back in every way that they can. I'm still I Nublet, joined in the booth by Joy Wolf. What can we expect to see game 2, Joy?
I mean, game 1 was really, really back and forth, really exciting. Lots of good team fights to watch. I really hope that game 2 is going to be a lot like game number 1 because that was an exciting one.
Sure was. As we head straight into the picks and bans, they have switched sides. Now Mahakali going to be on your Chaos side, Goosedra on your Order side, meaning they get first pick. Martichorus, standard ban that happened last time coming out, and followed by the Kali, also happened last round.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if Goosedra are going to ban out that Hachiman. I feel like if they don't, they're looking to first pick it for themselves. I mean, there's no way that they pass that back to the Mahakali team, right?
I would hope they would first pick it themselves, strong pick, and I think Loki could do just fine on it. Bakasura respect ban coming out from Mahakali. Want to see their jungler on something a little different. And Yamoja, one more time, being banned, taking that away from Scalder. Meta Ravana pick, going to be the final one of this round, and there is the first pick, Hover for Hachiman. Does not want Mulog to drop another almost 20 kills and run this set. Great pickup for them.
Yeah, and I mean, not only are you picking it up for yourself, but you, as you said, you're taking it out of the hands of Mulog, and that's so important. If you're feeling yourself on a god, and then you can't perform on the next one you have to pick because your opponent's picked it away from themselves or banned it, it's such a detriment to your flow, your confidence, and that's so important when you're playing a game like Smite. The mental game is definitely a huge part of it. Speaking
Mahakali,
of,
yeah, they're going to take the Thor and Baba Yaga, which was banned out last game, now choosing to not ban it and pick it up. 2 strong picks for Mahakali to try and close this one out. And the Merlin being hovered, I mean, Merlin last game was substantial. Wolfie dropping almost 60k on that, getting a triple kill in the throne room at the end, and a Kuzenbo hover as well, which was banned last game.
yeah,
Mother
I mean,
Earth is here for you.
Merlin is so good at shutting down a dive. He's super able to blink out and just free cast practically, throwing uber amounts of damage. Something I really like though in response to this Thor is Terra. You see Thor charging up that Anvil of Dawn, getting ready to dunk on your backline, pop the Earthen Fury, and the backline is going to be so much harder to kill. If you're playing that Thor, what you want to do is just get in and full combo the backline. That is your one and only goal. And when Terra pops that ultimate, it's not going to be easy. So I really like this pick into the matchup.
I agree, especially because of how even those team fights were. A Terra ultimate can almost just be the small thing you need to turn the fight in your favor, which would have been huge Goosedra. All they need to do is win 1 or 2 fights near the end there, and they could have took that W on the first one. And since the Hachiman was taken away, Moloch going to choose to take away Loki's god from last game and take on her. So we now have both backlines locked in for both teams, and a Terra and a Thor. We're going to go into the second rounds of bans here. A Susano being banned. Smart play. I know that last week Lina played some Susano and looked really good on it, choosing to take that out of the hands of Goosedra. Doesn't want to see raging on something that can hyper carry. And again with the Awilix, I'm starting to feel like Willix might be some target banning going on here. Just don't want to see it for Baba and on her.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to have to think about something extra. Oh, I don't want to use my elite because a Wheelish can pull me. When you're in that flow state, anything that disrupts you, pulls you out of that, is such a hamper on your mental. And a Wheelish can be just that. That little disruption in your flow. So I like seeing that banned out. Even if it's not a comfort pick, it really does hamper your team. So I'm a big fan, even if it's not the most meta of bans.
It's true. I think Awilix is very underrated as a jungler, and like you said, it throws one more thing into your mentals that you got to think about during a team fight, and the Awilix hold is on such a low cooldown. Atlas, not someone we see too often anymore. Used to be very popular. Gonna go the way of Mahakali. That's an interesting pick. So we'll see if that's going to go, I would assume, to the solo or to the support lane. The real question mark is Thor going to go solo? Is Thor going to go jungle? That'll be interesting. See how they respond on Goosedra's side.
Yeah, I feel like that Mahakalis aren't even sure about that one. I mean, pretty much they could be waiting just to see who the lane opponent would be for this Thor, and seeing as how they are hovering this Fenrir, it could be going into the jungle, but I would like to see who the solo laner is before making that call.
Fenrir is pretty popular right now. It's a very strong god, obviously. I don't like it necessarily into the Mahakali draft just because of all the CC immunity going on. But a Nemesis hover, I do like the Nemesis hover. A lot of chase down and a lot of burst, and it is going to be locked in alongside a Mulan. A lot of lane bully-esque, similar to the Sung Wukong from last time. And looks kind of like Sustain is the name of the game this time for Goosedra. Pairing that Mulan with that Terra is going to be huge. Wukong going to get locked in for Mahakali. Going to take that one and see how they run it here for Vidar.
Yeah, I really like this draft from Mahakali. I mean, you have your Atlas and your Thor for setup. I mean, your Atlas probably won't be diving in with the Thor, but who knows? Thor, obviously, really good facilitator with the Anvil of Dawn, cutting off team fights with the wall. I'll say, I think based off the drafts alone, Mahakali takes this game.
I think they're set up really nicely, and I think my favorite pick of this draft is Lina on the Thor. Plays so much into the style we saw last game where they're kind of on the outskirts, they do a lot of diving, and this time you don't got to run over and blink back in. You can just Anvil of Dawn straight into the fight from the side, and it's going to cause huge huge chaos, wreak havoc, words, and I think it's going to play beautiful. I'm also in favor of the draft of Mahakali on this one, but when you look over there, it's scary seeing Goosedra's. They have everything they need in that draft to take this to a game 3, and they definitely have the skill to be able to do it. You're calling this one Mahakali a clean 2-0?
Yeah, I feel like it should be a 2-0. But again, as you said, Goosedra's does have a really good draft. What I don't want to see is Goosedra's just getting steamrolled and kind of giving in. I'd like to see them still put up a good fight because they had a really impressive stay in game 1. It really just came down to those late team fights. So I don't want them to hang their head in shame because they did have a really solid performance. I would like to see them come out swinging.
there's something to be said for game two mentals. I think they should be all right. If you look back on that, an hour long game, anytime a game goes to about an hour, you know it's a good game in an even battle. And there's a lot to break down from that, that you did so many things as Goosedra so well. And at any moment, you could have took that game. It just didn't play out that way this one time. But hey, you could do a reverse sweep. It's definitely in the cards. Regardless, I think it's going to be an absolute banger, and I am ready to watch it. I can't wait. When you're looking at these players, do you think Mulog is still going to be the forefront for Mahakali, or do you think there's going to be a new player that stands out on this one and turns the tides of this entire game?
I mean, Hachiman is still just such a strong pick. I'm curious to see if having this matchup reversed, if we're going to see the same picks performing similarly, with Loki kind of getting the upper hand over Mulog in this one. I'm not sure though. It's hard to bet against the hot hands, and Mulog was just playing so well in game number 1.
How about let's look at raging on this Nemesis. How do you feel about that? Obviously, Nem can be a hyper carry with all the dive. Typically, you don't want to run a Nemesis into anything hard CC because you're going to rely heavily on that shield once engagement starts. The only real thing is it's going to come out is either On Her Impale, Wukong Stun, or Thor Wall. How do you feel that matches up into the On Her Thor?
I mean, I really like the Nemesis personally. I feel like she fits exactly what Raging wants to play. We saw them running an absolute muck in Teamfight, but I feel like Nemesis is a bit more performance heavy. You need to really be playing picture perfect to get results on this Nemesis compared to the Bakasura. So I would like to see Raging perform well, but it will take a lot.
Now, last time we saw First Blood and Second Blood going the way of mid lane, getting a big early league for Big Man and Lina. Do you expect the same thing here? Do you think they're ready for it? Or do you think that Goosedra makes a plan to go ahead and put pressure early on and get a First Blood somewhere else and get that snowball running?
After seeing what an impact the ADCs had, specifically Mulog, I wouldn't be surprised if Goosedras do send a lot of pressure his way. I mean, we see Baba Yaga, and she's just one of those mages that's just so slippery, so hard to kill. Granted, Raging does have pretty good chase down, which you hinted at in the picks and bans. I'm curious to see if Big Man Jesus is going to be able to stay safe, though.
There'll only be one way to find out, and that's getting into this game 2, which is sure to show some fireworks. We are in a bit of a pause here, so we're going to take a quick break while we let these players get set up, and then we will meet you in game 2. GSL Week 6, Mahakali versus Goosedra. Don't go anywhere. Yep.
Not mutants.
And we have finally made it back from the pause. I hope you're ready for some great smite. This is Middle Division Week 6 of GSL, but the way they played Game 1, it feels more like an S tier type of set. Battleground of the Gods, Nublet, and Joy Wolf ready to see some fireworks as these jungle buffs start, and it is on.
Taking a look at the builds here, something I'm a little excited to see from Vidar and Shinigami. Both of them starting with this blue stone spiked gauntlet start. I have to imagine that means both these solo laners are going to be looking for pressure early. I feel like there could be a decent amount of pressure slotted over to those from the junglers, perhaps. I feel like both of them could end up picking up a first blood. I'm really excited to see if it does happen.
Think the opportunity definitely is there. And I think both these junglers are now feeling themselves after game one. They both had a huge impact. See what they do with these first couple minutes of the match as buffs are dropping in 3, 2, and 1. I think it's going to be interesting to watch this Baba Yaga building probably into the Warlocks, which makes sense, obviously, with the passive of stacking. How do you feel Warlocks is in this current state of Smite?
I mean, it really is a perfect item for Baba Yaga. You know, it gives you power, health, and she's probably going to be building into a prophetic cloak. We usually see that in the third item. It just makes her even more unkillable. So I really like starting off with the Warlock staff on the Baba Yaga here. And especially with the passive stacking it up quickly, perfect item.
Already choosing to do battle in the duo lane. Terra getting deep in there. Bob the Bunny piloting that god. Now, health bars. This is the same story as last time where Goosedra took the fortitude to go ahead and cause aggression, but health bars were paying for it. Didn't turn out to be a bad thing last time, and now we see a bit of space in the mid lane, whereas last time it caused a big fight. Looks like they're going in on that. Nemesis has gone straight in onto Lina, doing a lot of damage. Thor just trying to return some, and a good peel from Big Man Jesus, just kind of body block. Not a lot of kill potential at level 2 on Nemesis, but good poke regardless. Bob the Bunny in a bit of a bad spot. Gonna get the slow. Autos are coming out. Just gonna get past the pillar and live on this one. Could have been a first blood for Mahakali once again. Look at the rotation.
Yeah, we see Raging coming in. This could be first blood.
A good impale back just to cause some space between Raging and Mulag. Now Scaldermain getting caught in the middle of a bunch of CC. Loki gonna get the first blood of this game, game 2. A huge boost to Loki. Might need it up against Mulag. And now health bar super low in the solo lane. Shinny gonna get the solo kill. That's 2 for Goosedra, 2 minutes in.
Yeah, I like what we're seeing from Goosedra. You don't really expect the 4-man gank to the duo lane, but I mean, you're okay with that. But gank is on its
what
solo.
A trap, a good response. Shinny just gonna get caught right in his low respawn timers. Vidar came right back. A good rotation from Lina. Walled off. Shinny nowhere to go. A quick response. 2-1 now, 2.5 minutes in. Fireworks just haven't ceased.
Yeah, both these teams just really enjoy playing for that early game, and it makes for some good content. You love to see it. But do you expect, Raging is posturing over to steal that chest, do you expect to see another gank on this duo lane? They're packed up to their tower, but I don't know. I feel like these teams are so aggressive. It's a possibility.
I would like to see it more so than how it was in game 1. Raging now on a better character to do those early ganks, and if not, no harm, no foul. I like that they're doing a bit of farming, some farm steal beforehand, just in case it doesn't work out. You're not losing a lot. Definitely farming like they were on that Bakasura. I would like to see a lot of early pressure provided by Raging because Lina just took off so easily in that early game, quickly getting up to 5-0, 6-0 even. I'd like to see them take back control of this all over the jungle right now, clear the entire left side. That's going to be huge farm, but still, Lina's ahead by 1 level.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we saw Raging at level 3 when Lina was already 5, so that's at least a full level. You gotta be feeling that. I mean, you did get the invade, but, you know, you're not getting as much XP as if you were clearing your own camp. So, yeah, Lina will be feeling that in a little bit when they go to clear those if they aren't available, but right now, Raging kind of suffering.
Bit of a tussle here. Bob the Bunny going to get pulled in, and the impale just misses the pillar. Probably would have been a death sentence. So they're going to back up a little bit. It was a good try. Nothing going to come from it. It's interesting to see the farm game. I think Nemesis, very strong character. Nemesis from behind doesn't feel very good, and especially not when you're behind a Thor who can just run a whole game as Vidar barely gets up in the ult, maybe 40 HP. Lives on that one, almost another solo kill, and we see Lina making their way over to the left side of the map. Gonna get their farm stolen away. Nothing to come from this as the duo lane head back.
I like to see the activity out of these junglers. They a lot of the early game in game number 1 was brought about from these junglers, and we're seeing that again. And as we said, game 1 was so even early. It worked out for both teams, and we continue to see it as the Nemesis is looking for another invade.
Yeah, choosing to take this fight. It's going to be a 1v1. Lina choosing to not continue it. Did get a good poke off. Might be a rotation from solo laners here. Vidar just misses the opportunity, and a good dash out from Raging. That one's going to fizzle out.
Yeah, and we already see the supports rotating, and I feel like I would like to see them rotating with their junglers, helping facilitate a little bit more with these ganks. Just that little bit of CC sometimes is all that you need. It's always nice when you're able to burn someone beads and then you see a follow-up CC and you just know that there's no getting away.
And there's a lot of ways to burn beads over here on Mahakali. That's going to be troublesome. Thor just always going to be in your face. Is now is fully purchased Transcendence, trying to stack it up. Not the easiest thing in the jungle. So I imagine here in the next minute and a half, we're going to probably start seeing Lina get involved in a big way with some of these kills. It's 3-3 in the mid lane. 6 players here. Jungler's going to go their separate ways. Not quite a fight yet, but Bob the Bunny going to let them know that the damage still exists.
Yeah, and I also like these supports getting active, you know. You never know what you're going to be able to get from one of these carries if you don't try, you know. Your jungler might be nowhere nearby, but you could still rip out some beads just based on that fear alone of, if I don't beads this, am I going to be ganked? So I like to see the activity from these supports and the junglers as we see a little bit of engage on Scalder, man.
And can be pulled back in. A quick flicker back to the tower. We do see a one-on-one with Thor and Nemesis in the left side jungle, but Lina gonna kind of dip out of there. Nemesis headed to the left side of the lane, join up with Hachiman, try and get something going on to Mulog as Bob the Bunny caught in the middle of 3, gonna try and get away, and a great stun to get him off. Ultimate has come out of Big Man, really wants this kill, gonna put the abilities ahead of Bob, who now the dunk has come in from Lina, a bit off the mark, just surviving, and Lina's in trouble. Raging gonna commit the ult, and actually tower dive here almost got pulled back in by a Scalder main. That could have been detrimental, but here is the carry. Mulog remembers dropping almost 20 kills last game, wants to get involved. I was wondering where the aggression had gone from game 1, and it seemed like Bob the Bunny was the only person who remembered all of the fighting, and we got a little bit of it. Oh, Raging pulled back in, 1 HP. Big Man Jesus gonna get that kill, bring it up to an even 2-2.
Both these solo laners are so low. Might think that there might be some solo kill potential, but again, Sun Wukong so safe, able to get out of dodge whenever he wants. Big Man Jesus, though, is low on mana and about half HP, but gonna take a little trip back to the fountain and fix that up. No problems asked, as we see a gank on the dude solo.
Yep. And Lina will clean that one up. Just caught out again. Thor's so good into Mulan because you can't even ult away if you're in trouble. Mulan, I think, did try to ult there as we see it now on cooldown, but great rotation, great timing from Lina, who's now going to find themselves in a 1v1 with Raging. But here comes Vidar to help them out. Going to scare off Nemesis a little bit. Does get stunned there. He's going to keep him in the fray a little bit. Scalderman coming around the back. Going to drop the ultimate. They really want Raging here. Lina chasing it down. Going to have to dive a T2 if they want it. Has them. Head back. No, they're going to come right back. Lina stayed around too long. Here comes the Nem ult. Erase Lina. It was all a ruse.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times now. Just chasing out these kills a bit too far, not knowing when to stay in back, as we see a pull coming out on Bob the Bunny. But these supports are already so tanky. They're stacking up those first items. They're alright. But we see a little bit of perhaps greed, shall we call it, as we see the junglers chasing out a bit too much and kind of being punished for it. We saw it happen a few times in game 1, and now we're seeing it in game 2. Do you think that might be a consistent theme, or, you know, will the shot callers pull back the reins a little bit?
Honestly, there's no telling with these two teams. I'm just here to watch them. Great plays. They seem to be different teams towards the end of game one, a little more sure of themselves, a little more calling. You saw them pinging out and calling targets. I think that will probably remain consistent, especially for Mahakali, as it working out really well. We do see Shinny taking a bit of a backseat item-wise. Just finally finished up Glad Shield. Hasn't fully stacked Soul Eater. And here comes Raging in the tussle with Lina, who's going to go straight up in the ult because they're losing the battle. Let's see if they come down with the dunk and re-engage. I wouldn't put it past them. Gonna choose to just get out and reset. 3-on-2 here over by the beacon, which has not occurred yet. Scald Main gonna take final judgment and fall down before they get back to the tower. Terra ult now comes out, Raging in trouble, does fall to Lina finally. House is doing some damage as Mulog sends out the on her ult. Big Man gonna get another one, and Wolfie can't be any part of that as they don't have any mana. Good fight for Mahakali.
Man, I'm starting to get flashbacks. This is reminding me a lot of game number one. We take a look at the gold lead here. Not even triple digits, or barely.
Okay, it's
But
so even.
I mean, 11 minutes in and already 9 kills. These teams are super active, but it's just so early on in the game that they haven't
5
really been
gold
able to. Wow, I've never seen that before. But both these teams not really able to push all that lead too much. There aren't any objectives that they can reasonably push for. So, I'm not surprised to see that there isn't too much of a lead yet, as we see a bit of a potential engage onto Loki, but able to get out of dodge. No worry.
Yeah, just
there.
a common scuffle over the shield buff. No big deal. Stygian Beacon will be opening soon. I imagine we'll see another fight there. Something that occurred in that fight that I was going to bring up and I was a little worried about was Merlin's build not going with the Sands of Time and not going into straight cooldown either. Didn't have a lot of cooldown throw out abilities, which you love to do on Merlin. Also, the MP5, you're going to get quite a bit from Karen's coin, but not as much as you went with the other starter. You think that's going to play a part of no cooldown currently for him as he's already on finishing his second item?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not where I'd want to be, as Scalderman takes a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, just being chunked away, trying to step up to the Stygian Beacon a little bit. But Stygian Beacon will go the way of Goosedra, which it did game one as well, and the subsequent ones going the way of Mahakali. So we'll see. Keep our eye on that and how that turns around. A great impale to stun Raging, who just got dunked on by Lina out of nowhere and is erased. Great teamwork from Mahakali.
Yeah, and what a nice little pick. I'm kind of surprised that Mahakali aren't opting to take this Gold Fury, but we see Alice behind. Could be a gank.
This is a familiar spot, but roles reverses. Last time this was Molog in the 2v1 on the Hachi. Just gonna dodge enough of the on her ult to get out very low, but Baba Yaga is creeping around the corner, is gonna go up into the ult, try and finish that one off, and finally does. It was a good effort to get away by Hachi, but better rotation from Mahakali mid to get over there.
Yeah, and I mean, we can really, if there's one thing I want to talk about from these teams, just incredible rotations from them. We talked about wards at the end of game number one, and sometimes wards can facilitate offense, and we're seeing a perfect example of that.
Goosedra did take down the Pyromancer in a response by Mahakali on the Gold Fury, splitting the objectives there smart. Bob the Bunny was in position to try and make something happen, just not a lot you can do from there. And again, the gold lead remains pretty even, about 1,700, 14 minutes in here, a little bit less on the kills and fights starting in game number 2, but so far looking like the same story, different game.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not surprised given with how well both these teams played in game number 1. It wasn't until the Mahakalis were able to really grab a firm hold of this game in the first game that they pulled ahead. So I'm not surprised with how close this has been.
And a blink in and final judgment from Nem, who's now tower diving. Can't get it to work though, and on her was ready. Mullah gonna pick it up as Thor crashes down onto Bob the Bunny. Gotta dodge 3 people to get out of dodge and back into the tower. Wolfie escapes. the grasp of Lina living there, and Terra ult is committed to just try and sustain and help and scare them off. They don't want another fight right now.
And one of the questions we asked before this game was, is Mulog going to have this same impact that he had from game number 1 on her as opposed to the Hachimon? And I mean, take a look at the slash line. Out of 8 kills participating in 5, 1 under his own belt. He's doing a lot, and I'm really happy with what Mulog has been able to do so far, and he's even got himself a little bit of a level lead as I say that Loki does close that up, but you know, still playing really well, making smart rotations and whatnot. I really like what Mulog's brought to this entire set so far.
And I think that was personally something I really wanted to keep my eye on this game. If you're just tuning in, last game number 1, Mulog went 17, I believe, or 16 kills on the Hachiman, and Loki was piloting the on her. Since then, those gods have reversed for game 2. Hachiman obviously being one of the strongest carry picks you can lock in for this meta, but Mulog just looking so good on the on her. It seems like it was player skill, not necessarily Hachi meta skill.
Yeah, and there was no doubt with that sort of performance that it was just the god, but we were curious as we see a big amount of damage coming out on Raging.
Yeah, Lina did use beads there, getting caught by some Terra walls and a pull in. Bob the Bunny always in a bad spot, it feels like, but trying to do stuff for the team. They're going to 2v1, dive onto Lina. A lot has been committed, and Hammer Toss is out. Fight continues as Baba Yaga is here, just slinging damage. Mulog going to pick up Bob the Bunny, but where did Lina come from? Dunks down onto Loki, who gets cleaned up by Mulog for a double, and this is how it all started. Getting Mulog going, cleans up an easy double. The communication in the fight there was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, the re-engage from Lina was absolutely huge. You love to see that. And you just, well, as you said, communication has been really key for the side of Mahakali, doing everything extremely cleanly. And I mean, only 4 deaths in the 17-minute mark as we see so much damage coming out on Wolfie.
Oh, nowhere for Wolfie to go, but might get the kill on to Scaldermain, and they're going to turn around. Molog is here wanting something to happen. Raging going to clean up Molog. Finally going to get them a death in this set. It is 2 for 1 in favor of Goosedra. Raging not stopping, but going to get stopped by Lina and sent back to the grayscale. Bit of an overstep there, but a good turnaround initially.
Yeah, I was going to say, perhaps Mahakali is getting a little bit big for their britches, but they were able to get a nice little turnaround. And I mean, trading out your support always is favored. If it's an even 2v2 and you lose your support, the enemy team doesn't, that's always going to be in your favor. So I have to feel like Mahakalis are feeling ahead of that in that regards.
Goosedra going to pick up Vision for the Oni Fury. Big man is just around the corner. Could make something happen here. Is a good person to try and steal. Going to use some abilities pretty early on. We've seen this before. Bob is very low as they're pulling the Oni Fury. They're going to scare him off and just try and make something happen as they pull back in Shinigami, who has rotated over. Wukong still in lane, just getting some farm. And now it looks like Stygian Beacon. Free game for Mahakali, which is the same story as last time. They're going to pick up the second one.
Yeah, I really like the call from Mahakali to just head to the beacon. They force Bob the Bunny to back, get the TKO, and they didn't want to risk anything as we see a bit of a scrap in the left-hand jungle.
Yeah, might end up with a solo kill here. Excuse me. It's a 2-on-1 in the mid lane as Raging's going to fall to Vidar. And Merlin's got to commit Aegis and get under tower, but he's being chased by a Wukong, and that's not easy to get away from. Thinking about it, doesn't choose to go in. The carries had split up there. Stop
Lyra's
having
in the back.
1v1. Yep, there's Bob the Bunny just trying to keep Lina around. Says you're not going to flank us this time. Goes up into the ult. We'll see if they come crashing back down as the squad is here to make something happen. Nope, going to choose to go out and top the mid lane. Shinigami in some trouble. Ults out, barely survives. Here's a Merlin to sling some damage. Wolfie gets one. Scaldermain out of this fight.
And we saw just how much damage this Merlin does. Everyone was grouped up in that small little corner as Bob the Bunny looking for a potential re-engage.
Yeah, they're going to keep pushing the issue, and that's just been the name of the game for Bob the Bunny. Like I said, it seems to be the only one who remembers the aggression of game one, just always in it, sometimes getting caught in bad positions because of it, but not always dying. They're only 0-2 and 5. And for how many fights they have started and how many deterrents they have made against Mahakali, I think it's just playing great. That way, the opportunity is always there for your carries to come in and make something happen. And we do see Nem onto the Pyromancer, probably going to get that one easy unless Wukong 1 comes over the wall. Goosedra picking up the Pyromancer.
And I feel like this game has been really feeling like Mahakali's been in the driver's seat, and I feel like they have. They've been picking their fights and whatnot, but Goosedra is still less than about 2,000 gold behind. We saw it in game one. These teams are just so gosh darn even. It's so hard for either team to really get any huge significant lead.
Really are. And Oni Fury has been started up here, but Loki around the corner, and that Hachimon's scary. Could 50-50 it. Here comes Raging, dropping the ult immediately, getting stunned out. Wukong gets up into the ult, slams right back down. Lina gonna get the kill onto Raging. Ulan is not here to help. Two members of Mahakali running away into the enemy jungle, and big man Jesus takes out Wolfie. That's a lot of damage not available now. Bob the Bunny still doing Bob the Bunny things. Messing with the team, probably going to get out free, even though 4 members are here. Loki is around the corner to try to assist. Not a lot they can do. Bob the Bunny has no mana. Here comes the pillar, slows them down. Impale off the mark. Bob is nowhere to go, and that's another one for Lina. Now 6, 1, and 5. Loki has no help to give, and it looks like an Oni Fury is going to go to Mahakali.
Yeah, I feel like that Oni Fury has to be up on the chopping block. But Loki was trying to step up at least a little bit, but almost immediately forced out by the zoning force of the Mahakalis. And I feel like now that they've secured this Oni Fury, that's going to give them about that 2,000 gold lead that they've been hovering around. But now with these Oni waves pushing, it's going to open up a lot of room for them to breathe around the map. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to make a play here. I don't think it'll be Fire Giant. Perhaps just pushing down one of these tier 2 towers, but we'll see what happens. I'm really excited. I feel like something big is brewing in the next coming minutes.
I would agree. This game state feels very much like game one. We didn't see a Fire Giant till around, I believe, 27 minutes, or at least a second Fire Giant there. Not even really an attempt. And the kills were always skewed in the way of Mahakali game one, but the gold was always very even. This is the first real big jump we've seen this early on in this set, going in favor of Mahakali, but obviously could turn around with one fight, one objective, one tower. There's 1 T1 and 3 T2s left for Goosedra. They knock one of those out, and it's a dead even game again, like it's always been. So certainly still looking good in this one, as a huge posturing going on in the right side of the map. Raging just trying to get away, and a nice blink to prevent the grab. 3 members now here to make a stance. Hachi nowhere near the fight. Wolfie nowhere near the fight. They might come in late.
Yeah, as both of these teams kind of just starting to disengage here, I hold that thought. Lyra hits a big wall.
Atlas looking for a pull-in, but going to be pulling in Bob the Bunny, which is going to be tough to kill, as we've seen. It takes a while. Might be a better target there. Mulog standing on the tower line, swinging spears at people. Doing a lot of damage. Does have Oboe now, so damage is always going to be ticking, preventing blinks, as the brawl has finally erupted with the Terra ult coming out. Immediately, Loki drops Scalder main, and they're not done there. Raging gets Mulog, which is a huge benefit to this fight. Baba is up into the ult, slinging out damage. Vidar going to clean up Raging, with a big dunk down from Lina to take out Wolfie. There's blood everywhere as Lina gets the double kill, and they're still pushing it down with a huge triple kill off the back end of the double tap. One more here. A good Aegis to prevent a little damage. Nice wall. We'll see if this turns out to be a quadra kill for Lina on the Thor and a deicide 25 minutes into this game.
Man, what a play from Lina. So clean. The re-engage was there. Beautiful hammer throws. Beautiful walls. I mean, Look at that slash line, 10-1-6. They're playing absolutely out of their mind, doing a great job in this one. And already a Phoenix. I mean, Goosedra are still down, but this is ambitious.
Is there no one else? Is there no one to stop Lina? Put him on the Thor and is just wreaking havoc everywhere, doing whatever they want. Just destruction. Beautiful gameplay from them and exactly what Mahakali needed to try and close out this set. They did push down all the way to the Phoenix, which is now about 15% health. Couldn't quite get it though before people showed up. But wow, you got to be feeling good after that fight and ready for the next one.
Yeah, I've said it a few times now, but Smite is momentum is so important to the game, and when you're feeling the momentum and Fire Giant is shortly on the chopping block, that is such a good feeling. You don't want to have that feeling of being behind when you're stepping up to fight around the biggest objective on the map. You want to be in the zone, ready to go. And I have to feel like that's going to be a huge boon for Mahakali when they do decide to step up and dance the dance of the Fire Giant.
4K up, 21-9. Lina looking unstoppable on this Thor. Where would you like to see their immediate attention, Mahakali, as the Titans have been unleashed? Go for the Titans, stop that quickly, go for some objectives, both Fire Giant and Primal up on the map. What's the call here if you're a shot caller in Mahakali?
I feel like we've been winning the team fights. I feel like we want to group up around that Titan and just try and push down, see how much damage we can do to the base of the Goosedras as they're being forced back a little bit now. We'll see what happens when the Titans clash in mid lane.
Looking like the fight ready to explode here. Everyone meeting up in the mid lane. All 10 members here, and all 12 if you're including the Titans. Immediately Vidar has to go up into the ult. Very unhealthy. Do see Raging coming around the back. Order Titan has been driven back. Chaos Titan still marching down the lane. A good engagement from on her. Shinny real low, has the ult out, but the ult is too good from Mulog. Gets that one. Raging blinking in the back of 4 members. Surely doesn't escape there. Does quite a bit of damage, but the dunk too good, and a double kill from Mulog. Just running through. Lino wants some more. Not happy with the current score line. Wants a couple more. Racing down the T2. Chaos Titan has finally gone back to base. 4 members still looking strong in the mid lane with Lina creeping around the right. A good wall to get a double tap, but it is Bob the Bunny falling pretty low, and Vidar's in there. Wants it. They're going to step up to this middle Phoenix. They're very unhealthy, though. Not a lot of sustain. They're going to back off, not risk it too much. Losing 4 or 5 members here would prove detrimental to the win. Going to head off to an objective.
Yeah, I like the call by Mahakali. You don't want to risk losing the Fire Giant here because you do still have some healthy members on the side of Goosedra. I mean, Wolfie can just throw some abilities out and potentially steal, as he might be looking to here.
Mahakali does actually get the Primal Fury there, but a good try. Honestly, nice stepping up there. That could have went bad. They could have dropped it and took the fight, but a bit unhealthy on the front line. Mulan still pushing down there. Doesn't want them to back. He's actually going to pull back in Scaldermain. Taking a lot of damage from Mulog, who wants some more. Scalder going to fall to Shinigami on the ult. Terra and Mulan versus 1 Mulog now. No one really in position to help. Good autos. Has a good escape. And a Sunder used onto Mulog, but here comes more of the squad. Big man ready to fight. And Bob the Bunny, looking so unhealthy, is gone to the Mulog ult. Up and down from on her to continue the fight. Another double kill. This time on the enemy carry, and a huge dunk from Lina to pick themselves up a double kill. They're always there. They're always ready. They want this win. Mulog going to find themselves in a bit of trouble, but the turnaround impale. Final Judgment's ready in the up down. Mulog with the delayed triple and showing amazing mechanics to get the second deicide of this game.
Man, Mulog is playing so crazy. Questions answered. It wasn't just a Hachimon. Mulog is a mechanical nut. Just playing out of their mind, doing incredible things, and now they get the best Phoenix on the map as their reward. Feast up, boys, because this is great. And they're pushing for the end.
They're walking to the throne room. 1 second for Bob the Bunny, 15 for anybody else. They want to end this one quickly. Bob's going to get in there. On her has to up down the stun. Bob's doing work, but the Titan is already to 25% health. They could do it here on the back of a double deicide. Loki comes in with a huge ult, gets the double kill. Titan very unhealthy. That's it. 29 minutes in. Mahakali takes the W in such a convincing fashion.
Man, Mulog and Lina just going huge, literally making plays throughout the entire game. I mean, if you look at it, a combined over 20 kills and only 4 deaths, one of those Mulog falling in the Titan room. Man, just what a driving force for these teams. Going absolutely huge. They really wanted to win that set, you could tell.
And coming off the back of a huge win last week, walking into this one feeling good, man. Mahakali came out here and made a statement that last week wasn't a fluke. They're here to play. They got a couple weeks left. They're going to do everything they can to leave with the best score possible on the standings. And nothing against Goosedra. They played fantastic. They did everything they could. It was just too much to overcome. Lina and Mulog were just on a mission. And it's not even about them. You look at the stats from Big Man Jesus, he was right up there doing incredible things on the Baba Yaga as you would want your mid laner to. It's just overshadowed a little bit by what his teammates were doing. It's just incredible teamwork all around for Mahakali. But let's look at the rest of the stats and kind of break this down. Maybe the 32 wards on Skulder main.
Yeah, that's quite nutty. I mean, if you add up all the wards on the side, you'll see that no one even comes close to the 32 wards. Just kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, Big Man Jesus, we didn't say his name a whole lot, but participating in so many of the kills, so many assists, really a well played game from him. Kind of quiet, but really did his job, and want to make sure that he gets the credit that he is owed for such a lights out performance.
Yeah, that's all you can really ask from your mid laner, right? If you never have to say the mid laner's name during the game, it's probably because they're doing a great job and doing exactly what they're supposed to in the background. Never really getting caught out, always there to follow up, had some great rotations to clean things up. Everything you could ever want from the burst damage. And on the other side, I mean, we've said their names a lot. Loki looked great on the Hachi, man. Was doing fantastic, just couldn't overcome the pressure of the full team of Mahakali's. Wolfie once more had a strong performance on the Merlin. Bob the Bunny was so fun to watch the whole time. Just always in there causing fights, doing everything they wanted to do. And honestly, Raging looked good on the Nemo, was trying to make the plays. I think he just never quite got to the game state where they could be that hero hyper carry like they were on the Bakasura. All in all, this could have went to a game 3. This could have been a 2-0 in the other direction. Very impressed with this, and what a set to watch on this fine Saturday. That has been Mahakali versus Goosedra in week 6. Mahakali taking the 2-0 victory. That's all we got for you tonight, but please look forward to the next one on GSL. More Smite coming as we're only in week 6. Stay tuned and have a fantastic evening. We've been iNooblet and Joy Wolf in here in the caster booth. And of course, to Captain, huge thank you to them for piloting this entire stream. Have a great evening, everyone.